You know, I was just a young rookie police officer out of the academy, and I was in Hollywood. And when the call came out, the partner I was working with, we went from Hollywood Division to 67th and Western on the help call. And I do remember very vividly seeing Oscar's body on the sidewalk with blood oozing on the sidewalk and from his body. And it brought me back to Vietnam, because I had just come back from Vietnam about 2 years before. And I remember that the suspects were still outstanding. By the time we got there, though, the suspects had been arrested, but there were other outstanding suspects. He was a U-car. He was working a one-man U-car around 1600, and he was taking a report around a block south of 67th and Western, when a citizen come up to him and said that there was a robbery in progress at the dress shop, 1 block south on 67th Street. And Oscar got in his black and white and drove down to the intersection, parked on the side street on 67th Street. And he did broadcast that a citizen reported a robbery at the dress shop, and I believe he described as 4 male blacks. At that time, I think that he used the words 4 male Negroes at the dress shop. But he didn't go code 6. That was just that he'd mentioned that the citizen reported. And the RTO did not pick up on it immediately, but she did broadcast the call. And Oscar got out. He confronted the suspects in the dress shop. Now, there were 7 suspects in the dress shop, 4 men and 3 women. And he assumed that the women were customers, so he ordered them out. And he was at gunpoint. He had a 6-inch revolver. 2 of the suspects were armed. One of them dropped a gun in a display case. The second suspect kept a gun in his waistband. Oscar ordered the suspects out of the shop, and there was a liquor store right at the corner. And he had the suspects lean up against the plate glass window, 4 male suspects. And in those days, if you were away from your black and white, you were away from your communications. There was no way of communicating with anyone. But the liquor store owner came out, and Oscar turned his head momentarily to tell the liquor store owner to call for backup. And when he did that, the suspect observed his reflection in the glass, pulled his gun out from his waistband, and underneath his arm fired. The first shot went through Oscar's pant leg and hit a pedestrian across the street. The second shot hit him above the right eye, mortally wounding him. But as Oscar fell to the ground, he emptied his revolver, wounding both suspects. Arriving units responded to the scene. 2 of the suspects were caught behind the dress shop. 2 more were recovered down the street. A further investigation resulted in the arrest of the 3 women. A further investigation showed that when Oscar parked his car on 67th Street, there was another car parked there. In that car was an M1 carbine. It was a layoff vehicle. But what had happened is that the 3 people that were in that car were 2 female juveniles and a male adult. But the female got a little nervous, so the male took her to another liquor store, not the one where the robbery was, but another one down the street, to get her a soda. So they were not at the scene when Oscar came by, but they did flee. All the suspects were convicted of from murder to robbery. There was plea bargains and so forth. And so I took it as my responsibility and my honor to pay respects to him. So every year after 1968, when he was killed May 13th, I went to his grave and I paid my respects. Everybody admired what he did, and especially I admired what he did. I admired everything that he did. He did not do anything wrong. There was things that we learned from what he did that maybe we wouldn't do. Right. But there was nothing that he did that wasn't courageous. He was a hero. He just taught us lessons. And I think other officers have been saved because of the lessons that we learned. He loved the Corps, he loved the Marine Corps, but he actually loved the LAPD.